Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 5 questions in about 10 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. And I am very excited to have our guest today. Everyone, this is Kamden LaHargoue. He is the CEO of NuDawn ECommerce, which is a marketing company. Kamden, thank you so much for being on the show today. What information would you like to share with the viewers and the listeners about what you do?
Thank you. Thanks, Sean. I'm new to this. I've never done this before, so I'm excited. But yeah, we are an Amazon agency. We run product companies to new heights. So basically, we'll take a new product company and take them under our wing and give them new success levels. We focus on product companies on Amazon doing their PPC and graphics and SEO and keyword research and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what we do, and we're doing it really well.
Awesome. Yes, I'm hearing great things about what you've done. So good for you. I'm glad you're having some success. Well, let's jump to the questions that we've got lined out for today. Our first question, share with the audience a success story of collaboration within a team.
So I've written these down like we talked earlier today, but the success story that came to mind when I read this was really crazy, actually, and I think you'll enjoy it. So we had a last minute opportunity for us to be able to come bring success to this company. They needed something done in 4 weeks. It's a seasonal product. They came to me at a lunch meeting and said, "Hey, just ditched my last agency and I need you to do something now." I thought, this is seasonal though, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with it. And he said, "I know you're comfortable with it. I know your team. I know what you guys can do. And I know you're a well-oiled machine and I want to see you do it." And so I said, "All right, let's try for it." And so we put it in the pipeline. Graphics got started. Immediately, I started seeing stuff on Trello, which is a project management software we use. Everyone passing their ideas around, getting the content started. And honestly, coming down to the wire, we ended up doing really, really good things for the company in just 4 weeks and making their sales go way past what they were the previous year. So
that's an awesome story.
4 weeks, right? I mean, you don't really have a ton of time to prove a lot of research. In 4 weeks to blow up their sales. It was a cool case study.
That is really awesome. Congratulations on that success. And what I love about that story, Kamden, is the fact that if you know you've got a really good, tight team, if you can do things under the gun and kind of last minute like you had to do it, 4 weeks is not a lot of time. So that's an impressive story. So kudos to you and your team for having that collaboration and that ability to really work together under a tight deadline there.
It was all my team. It was all my team. Every one of them played a crucial role in that. That was a huge team effort.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Question number 2, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to measure engagement. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, engagement is huge for me. Engagement starts honestly with relationships, and it starts from day one when I'm hiring people. So if I'm hiring someone, I'm very non-traditional. I start the interview off with, "Hey, how are you? Let's get to know each other. Let's talk. How was your day? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies?" And that I literally don't even talk about the business. I like to get to know these people because I feel like for me, it's all relationship based. If you're focused on talking about relationships, then it goes to feeling, right? If you're basing on your feeling, you're going to get a way better experience out of it. So that, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer, but that's what I do. And it's working awesome.
That is great. No, I am a big proponent of hiring to culture. And I won't go too far off onto that because I don't want to get off track. But the short version of it is I really like what you're doing because when you're interviewing and looking at prospective hires, it's not always about their skill set. You have to address that, but you can usually catch that off the resume. But the interview really ought to be, hey, tell me about this person. Would they fit in with our culture? And for you as the employer to give them an opportunity to understand your culture and how you like to do things, because that's really what's going to make the bigger difference in the long run. Isn't just the skills that they bring, but the culture. Yeah.
Exactly right. Like if I'm talking to somebody and I feel good in my stomach, that's an indication, number one, these guys are good. And if you can hold a good conversation with somebody, they're the ones you're working with every day. Like, why do we want a robot? No offense, right? Some people may not have the skill set, and that's fine, right? That may be, their path. But if you're talking to them and having a normal day-to-day discussion, that's what you do every day at work. You have a normal
That's
day-to-day
right.
discussion. So if you can't do that in the interview process, why are you going to hire them? Yeah, the skills are there, like you said, but that comes, right? They've already applied, they've already passed that. We'll get to that point later to go through their portfolio and see their skill set. But the most important is, how's the relationship? Are they going to
Right.
be time? Are they going to talk to you? Are they a good friend? Right? I'm not expecting to be best friends, but I want to at least know that I can contact them and be like, hey man, how's your day? Or, hey,
Yeah.
what can I do for you? I heard you're sick, right?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, great approach. Thank you so much for that response. I think obviously think that's a great response. So thank you. Question number 3, Kamden, based on your experience, what is one essential or vital characteristic of a confident leader?
I love this one. And honestly, the first thought that came to mind is hiring once again. So when I'm hiring somebody, I wrote it down in my notes. So if you see me looking down at my phone, I've got my phone
No
here.
problem.
But the number one thing is humility. The first thing I say when I start an interview is I say, good to meet you. I'm Kamden. I don't know everything. And that's the reason why we're in this meeting together, is because you've got a skill that I need. And I think that we can be a good fit together. Let's talk. Right. And I set that bar even. I'm not here. They're not here. We're on the same playing field. I've got great skills that make us successful, but so does that person. If that's a graphic designer, well, guess what? Kamden doesn't know how to do graphic design. So that's why I posted the ad. Right. And so I reach out to these people and I just tell them, like my number one thing is I'm not good at everything. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I don't know everything in this room. And I think that's the smartest person, is the one that doesn't know everything. And that
Completely
can admit it
agree.
humbly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great response. I love that. Well, question number 4, share an example of a time in your life when someone made a difference in your life.
Yeah, this has happened countless times with me. And honestly, you've experienced some of it with some of the networking groups and things. But the first one that comes to mind is a guy named Jesse. He is by far one of the coolest, most real people. And him getting me into the networking world and getting me into um, getting to know people and essentially sending down the elevator is what I like to call it, after they've ridden it up, and sending it back down to me is kind of the analogy I like to use, because he was one of the people that first got me started,
Mm.
and got me confident. The second would be a guy by the name of Andrew Smith. He runs a 4Foods group. He's a big time investor in the franchise world. And I don't think he would even, I mean, we're friends on LinkedIn, right? But if he saw this, he'd probably laugh and maybe message me. But he made a big impact on my life in giving me 2 hours of his time when I was in college to pass the elevator back down to me, in a sense, because at that point I'm like, man, this guy's made it. I'm going to go talk to him. Now I see that example and I want to do that to everybody. I want to pass that elevator
Mhm.
back down to entrepreneurs, to other people with questions, my employees. Like I always want to be that person that's, hey, let me send the ladder back down to you guys and let me do what I can to pull you back up here. Because if we're all raising, we're all raising and we're all happy, right? What is that saying? All tides rise, tides that rise raise all ships, or something.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep. A rising tide raises all ships. Yep.
it's a funny saying, but it really is true. It
Yeah.
really is true. So that's my story for that one.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing it. Okay. Our last question. Tell us about your first job.
My first job. So my first job, I was a dishwasher. I was 15 years old at a reception center, and I hated it. Like, who liked their first job, right? I mean, did you like your first job? No one likes them.
Well, I did, but I've had a lot of guests that share that same sentiment that you just did, that they learned what they didn't want to do for the rest of their life because of their first job. So,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sitting there with the sprayer in my hand and watching all the dirty cake and like food come down this thing, and just know like there's literally no end in sight. There's just dirty dishes forever and ever. And I'm getting paid $7.89 an hour or something. This wasn't that long ago either. It was bad pay then. These things, just thinking, man, what do I do to get out of here? And ever since then, I'm like, I need to run my own business because I cannot be doing this. This is hard. And not to say that
well,
it's easy when you run a company, but this is rough.
well, that's the thing. And you hit on it, and we won't go real deep into this, but you hit on something that a lot of other guests that I've had and a lot of entrepreneurs experience, some type of a job that gets them to say in their mind, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to have my own, and I want to be the one that leads out so that if I'm going to work hard, I want to do something that I just love doing. And that's really what entrepreneurship and leading is really all about, is doing
Absolutely.
something that you love. So
And leading other people and helping bring them to greater heights, right? If you can make a
absolutely.
big pizza and everyone can share a bigger slice, that's what you want to do. You don't want to take from a smaller pizza. Like, let's make a big pizza. Let's all partake from it. Let's all be beneficial. Let's all flourish, right?
I love it. Love it. Well, Kamden, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
You can find us online, NuDawn ECommerce.com. We take a form submission there, or you can email us at sales@NuDawn, and that's NuDawnEcom.com. So NuDawn Ecom. And yeah, we're happy to talk to any product companies. I love this stuff. This is my favorite job in the world.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Thanks for having me, Sean. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, you're very welcome. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, go to teamengagementpodcast.com. Once again, teamengagementpodcast.com. And we also encourage you to follow us on YouTube or on the audio version of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.